I'd like to share one moment where I really saw Andrew walking the walk. So we were at an event in Romania. There were Vice worms crawling around trying to put forward a very biased take on.
So Vice was filming a little mini doc on
indeed,
Andrew.
And an event where guys were getting in the cage on very short notice. A really positive event. The Vice guys during it even said, "Wow, I can see why you guys do this. This is incredible." But then they had to snap back to their leftist, soy, feminist thinking. I feel sorry for the lads. They don't live good lives. But we tried to sort of lead them on the right path. But at that point, so big event running. A lot of different businesses running to all of that on Andrew's shoulders, and Vice buzzing around trying to soundbite everybody. That's when he really started getting the headlines, and in one day there was maybe 200 articles all using the same words. He's a misogynist, he's a bad influence, all these things, all these, obviously a press release or some sort of instruction had come out to all of the different media houses, and on the same day they all fired off the same talking about points about Andrew Tate. He lost his website servers, he lost his banks, he lost his payment providers, he lost social media, everything just imploded. He wasn't fazed. As God is my witness, he wasn't fazed. Can you imagine any other influencers losing everything? He can't even use Uber, man. He's lost everything. He wasn't fazed, zero. He's like, right, what's next? That to me was a really defining moment in me thinking, I've always thought this guy's different and I've always given him respect accordingly. I have seen proof of his world imploding around him. And now he's even wealthy and even more famous. And he gave zero negative reactions. I know the guy well. I don't think he cared. I think he's just, all right, that's the chess move that's on the board. What's my counter move? What's my 3-4 moves ahead? He walks the walk that much if we talk about mental resilience, if we talk about facing challenge with gratitude. Good, let me have this struggle. It's building me as a man. I saw his entire business infrastructure, social infrastructure, everything implode, and his name get ran through the mud in a clear targeted attack. He didn't care. Just, all right, another day of work.
How does he do that? Had he played that chess game before in his mind? But even that doesn't mean
I don't think he
that.
had, mate. I don't think he had.
Okay.
I don't think he was aware of the fact that the system would be that coordinated. And like his whole theory of the matrix, I've always said there's many different matrices. That's my view. But his view is that there's one matrix. Man, that day, the one matrix came after him and continued to this day. So he was always aware of the opposition, so to speak. I don't think he thought it would be that large and just frankly ridiculous. The claims that are being made just don't make sense. Again, I'm not going to speak out of turn or say anything I shouldn't in terms of respecting people's private lives. But the challenge with Andrew and Tristan Tate was to get women to leave. They weren't keeping anyone around. They weren't trying to trap anybody. The hey, let's get rich together in different ways that obviously are something that a lot of people can say is OnlyFans and these sorts of things is not a clean way to make money, or it can be judged as not being ethical. It's not illegal. Managing OnlyFans is not illegal. As I understand it, it's a massive industry and many people are doing that. But the way that they've been persecuted as if they're somehow these big evil guys trying to trap women and manipulate women. Brother, I was with them. The only challenge the Tates have is to get women to go. They flock to the guys and they attach to them. The idea that they're somehow trying to force anyone to do anything is just simply not true. I've been around them for literally years. So I don't think they saw how ridiculous the claims would be coming at them. So I don't think they typically or realistically were able to strategize in advance how to deal with that. They just have complete self-confidence. They have, and genuinely, a lot of people ask them, how's Andrew, how's Tristan? I think they enjoy this combat. I've discussed this, with numerous other people close to them. I think they actually enjoy what's going on because it's a good old challenge. Man, imagine people saying that about you, all your friends, all your family hearing these things. It's disgusting. It's heavy. I don't know how I'd cope with it. I don't think I'd do that well if I was labelled as, such, based on the lies of clearly not credible individuals who were making money as well. Like it's with the brothers back in the day. But seeing how they are just so resilient in the face of global reputation tarnishing and very, very powerful attempts to shut them down in every way, and they've turned that into being more famous and more wealthy and more influential. Man, if that's not a receipt for the way this person says you should be in terms of a man, he's actually living it, then I don't know what is. It was incredible to observe this whole thing. Really, a real honor.
This was around 21, 22?
Yeah, exactly.
Something like
exactly.
that? Okay.
Yeah.
That was like the first big Matrix attack.
Yeah.
I guess you probably never saw them later being put in jail. That was probably a year later, maybe?
Yeah, indeed.
And then that would have been something that was even more sobering and serious to watch, especially as a friend.
Yeah, it was wild. It was really wild to watch. Very, very uncomfortable. And that's why I went loud on social media. I had no interest in a big following. I think I'd posted maximum a couple dozen times on Instagram before then. I was hiding behind Sartori Shooter. I wasn't using my real name. I had like a burner account on Twitter that I basically just used to retweet anti-feminist things, which obviously I had to back off from when I became public and put my name behind my accounts. But seeing them go through that, I had to speak up. I had to. Like, what kind of a brother would sit there and be quiet if he'd been around people for years and was seeing them get all this nonsense being said about them and all these so-called experts on the Tate brothers who'd never even met them or met them once. I'm like, hang on, I'm here. Now look, I'm not objective. I love them dearly as brothers. I care for them dearly. But I am a credible source. I have a master's degree from a credible, university in the UK. I was a leader in the field of security investigations globally, speaking at many conferences, these sorts of things. And also I'm able to put aside my emotions and, hey, they're my boys, and speak open, objective facts as much as any human can. And I did. I went live on Twitter Spaces. Again, I got my house doxed, all sorts of stuff, had threats against my family, all sorts of ridiculous things. Thankfully, I'm pretty well positioned to deal with that sort of stuff. And I spoke to a lot of media, which, as a security professional, that's the last thing you want to do.
Yeah.
Bro. You don't want to be speaking to the media. I spoke to, I'd say, dozens of different media houses and documentary makers. Guess what? Most of them didn't even feature me. I remember I spoke at one point for 3 hours with Sky News or Channel 4 or one of these. They used maximum 30 seconds of me, because I didn't fit their narrative, bro. And each one of their questions, I had a clear, credible, objectively, like, yeah, okay, that makes sense response. They just didn't want that. The shameless agenda by the mainstream media didn't want me to talk for the Tates. Thankfully, there's social media, and again, I've gained a bit of traction there, speaking up what I witnessed firsthand with the Tates for a long time. But yeah, I have no interest on a personal note of being some big influencer type. The only reason I went loud and put my real name on my social media accounts was to speak up for the brothers and to say, hang on, I'm a credible guy, I've actually been around them, here's what actually happened.
And so you made it through, they went to jail, they came back out. Yeah, that must have been tough.
Yeah, definitely. Look, I don't think of myself as an overly emotional guy, but the day they got out was a real, that was a moment. That was really something that was amazing to see. I continued to speak for them as much as I could. Now that they have a platform, they can speak for themselves. But looking back, I'm very glad that I did. Sure, there was some consequences, but at the end of the day, what kind of a man are you if you're not going to take some silly consequences, such as people coming up to your house or threatening to do bad things to your family if you're not going to speak up to your brothers, speak up for your brothers, you know what I mean? That's why I bought the dog, by the way. I had so many people come to my house, so many, good and bad. As soon as I got that dog, the Doberman, something about those ears that stick up, nobody. It's magic.
Wow.
It's 20 years of security experience, advice for residential security, get a Doberman, train him well, you're good.
Hey, I know investing in crypto is scary. It takes a real leap of faith because there are so many scams, rug pulls, and bad actors out there. It's a dangerous business, which is why 95% of people lose all their money. Well, that's why I created the London Real Investment Club, so you can access the hottest deals on the planet and use the crypto bull market to create the generational wealth that you deserve. Join my team of over 100 people from around the world that are making millions of dollars behind the scenes investing in blockchain, AI, Web3 games, DeFi, Bitcoin, and more. Don't miss out. Click the link below to book a call with one of my team now. But hurry, this bull market will end soon.
I know investing in crypto can be scary. That's why you gotta join the investment club. Pull the trigger. Let's do this.